is the return of the king. One might argue that Jerusalem would be conquered by said king. Within the return of the Son, we may find the King of Israel. Israel being a people not set to one particular landmass. And within said people, in each an Israeli, within said people is their testament, their wrestling match with God. Within the Israeli, we find the return of Jerusalem conquered. Jerusalem conquered, and the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites and the inhabitants of the land, which spoke unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither, thinking David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, the same is the city of David. And David said on that day, Whatsoever getteth up to the gutter, and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame and the blind, that are hated of David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So David dwelt in the fort, and called it the city of David. And David built round about from Milo and inward. And David went on and grew great, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. And Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters, and masons, and they built David a house. And David perceived that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people, Israel's sake. Sons born to David in Jerusalem. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron. And there were yet sons and daughters born to David. And these be the names of those that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Shemua, Shobab, and Nathan, and Solomon, Ibahar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, Eliphalet. In the sons of Jerusalem, we find once again Jesus be of David. In the lineage of Jesus, one may find a direct lineage to David. David, son of Jacob. Jacob, son of Isaac. Isaac, son of Abraham. And within said particular lineage, one may find this particular pathway. At the story of Abraham, we see Abraham be told by God, sacrifice your son so I know you believe in me. The moment at which Isaac is to be sacrificed, which Isaac was not just a child at that particular point, he was of a 36-year-old age, which his father Abraham was specifically closer to his 70s at that particular point. And the final striking of the dagger, God speaks to Abraham and says, now that I know you hear me, I know you will do my bidding. In this particular statement arises the notion of where is Abraham hearing God from? A kingdom not of this world, but a kingdom of this world the same. The mind, which in order for Abraham, also known as the human, to believe in God, they must believe in the mind, where we see the wraparound at the tail of Jesus, where now at the tail of Jesus, God sacrifices the Son for humans. A reversal, rather than humans be sacrificed for God, we see God sacrifice his Son in himself for humanity. And in this reversal begins the two initial forms of worship between a God that sacrificed himself for you and a God that you must be sacrificed for. And within these different forms of worship became the two different kingdoms. And within each kingdom, a separate experience, male and female, which within each experience, you may attach a particular mentality of a form of worship according to what the individual ultimately believes is how the individual may essentially discover God. In that particular statement, you may find within the return of the king what the essential swap is. And in the essential swap, you find where the rebirth or resurrection of Christ is. Christ died for the world's sins, and in the world's sins, Christ is reborn within every individual, that which invite him into their heart. Thank you.